Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back. So I know a lot of you have been hounding me to do a portfolio review video, and I see your comments in my previous videos, right? So I hear you, and you guys know me, right? I give the people what they want. So without further ado, let's jump in. Alright, so in case this is your first time ever watching one of these portfolio review videos, basically I'm going to be reviewing everything that I'm holding in my main account, starting from the smallest position to the largest position, and the platform that I will be using is RBC Direct Investing, in case you're wondering what brokerage it is. Alright, so anyways, before I jump into the positions, let me go through an overview of the entire account. So as you can see, the account has gone up quite a bit since the last time we did a portfolio review video, so I'm pretty happy about that. We're sitting at just over 40% trailing 12-month return, and just under 60,000 US dollars in terms of the entire value for the entire account. And for my fellow Canadians, you can see what the conversion is right there in Canadian dollars. Anyways, on to the first and smallest position that I'm holding, and this will be MicroStrategy, ticker symbol MSTR. And the stock has gone up quite a bit recently, but overall I'm still down on it. So I thought this was a steal back at $700 or so, but it just kept on dropping after I bought it, so I did not buy this stock at the right time. It was horrible timing on my part, but hey, who knows, right? I didn't have a crystal ball. I can't predict the future. But if you guys don't know what MicroStrategy is, by the way, this is Michael Saylor's company. So he's one of the biggest Bitcoin bulls out there, right? So this is a Bitcoin kind of play, and MicroStrategy has over 100,000 Bitcoins on its balance sheet. So I'm not talking about $100,000 worth of Bitcoin. I'm talking about 100,000 Bitcoins, which by now is worth well over $4 billion. So essentially, this stock is just a proxy for Bitcoin because in the US there isn't a Bitcoin ETF yet, but if you buy MicroStrategy, it's essentially like buying a Bitcoin ETF almost. I mean, they do have a software version or a software side, of their business. But face it, no one is buying this stock because of the software, right? Like nobody cares about the software. We're all here for the Bitcoin at this point. And I often get this question from viewers. And people often ask me, hey, why don't you just buy like the Bitcoin ETF since you're in Canada, or why don't you just buy Bitcoin itself even if you're not in Canada, right? So the reason why one would buy MicroStrategy stock instead of buying actual Bitcoin is due to two reasons, right? So number one, as I said, if you're not in a place that has a Bitcoin ETF yet, i.e. the United States, and you want exposure to Bitcoin, but in a tax advantage way, like through a Roth IRA or something like that, then it's better to buy MicroStrategy. The second reason, and this is the important reason, the second reason is that MicroStrategy represents a leverage bet on Bitcoin. So if you guys don't know, they actually borrowed money to buy Bitcoin, meaning that if you're super bullish on Bitcoin and you just want to go on margin to buy Bitcoin, then don't, okay? Just buy MicroStrategy. And buying MicroStrategy, in my opinion, is better than going on margin because if you go on margin, you can get margin called if Bitcoin drops dramatically. And number two, MicroStrategy is a multi-billion-dollar business, so they can borrow money at much lower interest rates than you can. So I think their average interest on their debt is like less than 2%. And chances are your brokerage isn't going to give you that kind of interest rate if you go on margin, unless you're putting up like massive collateral. So yeah, it's just not a good idea to go on margin yourself to bet on Bitcoin, even if you're super bullish. And the reason is that Bitcoin is very volatile still and has the potential to drop dramatically. And if it drops dramatically, you get margin called, you get liquidated. And you could be right that Bitcoin goes to 100K, 200K in the future. You could be right about that, but then you just got liquidated because your position dropped, right? Because you were leveraged. So yeah, don't go on margin to buy Bitcoin, guys, or any crypto for that matter. It's just too risky. So I think something like a MicroStrategy is a much better bet if you want a leverage bet on Bitcoin. So anyways, that's why I'm in MSTR, and I think we're going to see a huge pump next week because Bitcoin is going up right now. It has been going up for 10 straight days or something like that, and if this rally holds, I think that by the time the market opens on Monday, I'm recording this on Sunday night, but by the time the market opens tomorrow morning, is gonna flip green. Anyways, that's it for MicroStrategy. Next up, we have a new addition to my portfolio actually. Well, it's kind of an old new position, meaning that I had some shares before, I sold it, and then I bought it back again, and then I sold it, and then now I've bought it back once again. And yes, I am talking about SoFi, ticker symbol SOFI. So I swing traded this one a lot back when it was IPOE, and this was one of these like SPAC merger stocks. And you guys know I usually don't swing trade stocks. I suck at swing trading. But this one has actually been super successful for me in terms of swing trading. So I initially bought around like $15 and sold when it hit like 18, and then I bought it back again at around 15, and I sold it again when it went up, and then now I bought it once again at around 15 once again. So like I did this like 3 times by now, and this time I do plan on holding it for the long term for reals. I know I said that last time as well, but this time I'm like actually saying it for reals. So if you guys don't know SoFi, they're an all-in-one app for all your financial service needs. So you can get your student loan financed on there. You can trade stocks and crypto. They have a checking or savings account. They have a credit card now. You name it. It's literally meant to be just a one-stop shop for all your financial needs. And if you guys have been paying attention to the news, Robinhood recently just IPO'd. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of Robinhood. Well, like I like Robinhood. I should rephrase that. I like Robinhood, but I just like SoFi a lot more than Robinhood. I think that most would agree that SoFi just has a better reputation than Robinhood to begin with, right? So that's one. And number 2, SoFi just has more features than Robinhood. So I thought about it and I was like, if I were to bet on SoFi or bet on Robinhood, I'd rather bet on SoFi. I know Robinhood has way more users and I understand that, but then again, I could say that SoFi maybe has like a higher headroom, right, to grow because they have less users. So I don't know. I like SoFi more. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I have 150 shares of SoFi with an average cost of $15.75, and I'm down ever so slightly on it right now, but I'm not worried. Again, I'm holding this for the long term this time. So anyways, that's SoFi. Next up, we have Nokia, ticker symbol NOK. And I actually sold about a third of my position on the news of the latest earnings report, which I thought it was great, but I just wanted to raise some money for other purchases. I'm still a big believer in Nokia, and I still think that the stock is headed towards $10. Now, I bought this stock initially at a really bad time in January when we had that huge pump, and then the stock pumped to like $6, and then it immediately crashed back down just like right after I bought it. So yeah, terrible timing again on that one. Now, I made a video on Nokia before, and people down in the comments of that video were like, oh, are you just saying like all these things to make yourself feel better, or do you actually think that it's gonna go to $10, right? Well, maybe it's a little bit of both, right? So the way that I see it, if I hadn't gotten caught up in the hype, I'd be up 20% instead of 2%. So that's my mistake. But long term, I still do believe that the stock is going at $10. Not financial advice, by the way, just my opinion. It does mean that I wouldn't have made as much money as other people, right? Because I had a really high cost basis, but it is what it is, right? It's a great lesson for me to be more patient when it comes to investing, and it's something that I'm still learning myself. So this just goes to show, even for people like me that have been investing for years and years, we still get caught up in these things, and it's okay, right? We still make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But once again, I think overall, I'm still right about Nokia though. So we'll continue to see where this stock goes. And I'm not selling any more shares, and for the rest of my shares, I'm just gonna continue to hold it. So that's my Nokia shares. Next up, we have Dropbox, ticker symbol DBX. So I ended up doing what I said I was going to do, which is to sell my Dropbox calls and put the money into shares instead. So I made a decent profit on those calls, by the way. It was like 30% or something, but I just decided to go with shares instead as a way to de-risk my portfolio slightly. So I don't want to sound like I'm fear-mongering, but there are signs that the pandemic might be flaring up again. So if we encounter another stock crash because of that, I want to be in like shares rather than call options, right? Just because shares have no expiry date and call options have an expiry date. So shares I can hold forever, but with call options, I don't want to be stuck in a bunch of calls when the market goes down, if the market goes down, right? I'm not saying it will, but just in case. So again, it's a strategy for me to kind of de-risk my portfolio. Overall, I still wanted to be exposed to Dropbox, which is why I bought shares in after I sold the calls. So I still think that this is a company that's being drastically underestimated. So we'll see where it goes. I think long term, this stock can easily double, right? So it's at like 30 right now, right? So yeah, I'm aiming for like 50 or 60 for this stock in the long term. Again, not financial advice. Please do your own research, but that's just my opinion. So anyways, next up we have, oh boy, this stock, you guys know about it. So this is the stock that I'm down the most by far, and I do mean by far. Okay, so you guys know it. It is Hyliion, ticker symbol HYLN. And what can I say about Hyliion? Well, at this point, I'm either gonna hold it to 100 or I'm gonna hold it to 0, right? So there's no in-between point for me anymore. There's no point in me selling now because I'm down so much already, and if this stock goes to 0, I'm going to be really sad. I took a chance on it, and it worked out great in the beginning, and then it started not working out so great. So, I kind of missed my chance to cash out early and stuff like that. So I'm just stuck in this one. But hey, long term, I still think that it has great potential. So this is a kind of risk that you have to take when you're in these like kind of speculative plays like Hyliion. So for now, it is what it is. But on the bright side though, JMac Investing recently just made a video about Hyliion, and I recommend you all watch it if you have any interest in this stock or if you're a shareholder already. So basically, Hyliion is actually right on schedule in terms of their plans. So they're rolling out their Hypertruck ERX product in 2022. So I think that once that comes out, we can't say whether or not this is a successful company or a successful investment or not. So I know if you look at my position in Hyliion right now, you think I'm an idiot, right? And, not without merit, right? But like, I'm just telling you guys, wait and see, okay? So I have high hopes for Hyliion still, and I'm going to learn to be a little bit more patient. That's what I'm doing, right? So I'm just going to hold the shares. And 2022, when that comes, when the Hypertruck ERX comes out, we'll see, right? And if the demand for that is great, then we can see the stock jump back up to $30, $40 easily, in my opinion. So that's it for Hyliion for now. Next up, we have Coinbase, ticker symbol COIN. And I shouldn't have bought this one at IPO because it dropped like a rock right after I bought it. I just got destroyed. But I did really think that it was going to be like a Snowflake or Airbnb where it just like took off right after IPO, but that wasn't the case. It's okay though, because it does give me more time to accumulate at lower prices. And I think long term, this might actually work out better for me than if the stock just took off after IPO. So right now it's actually trading less than the IPO recommended price, which was $250 per share. So it's actually trading less than that. So you're actually getting into this stock. If you're buying this stock, you're actually getting in at a price that's a lot lower than what some Wall Street insiders were able to get into. So I just think that people on Wall Street don't really understand Coinbase just yet, which is why it dropped massively. So to me, Coinbase is an absolute steal right now, which is why I'm averaging down on it. And I've been buying pretty much every major dip, and I'm at 35 shares now, and I'm looking to add more soon. So Coinbase is one of the most profitable companies in the world. And not just like in the crypto industry, I'm talking about in the world. They make money even when crypto is crashing because they make money just on trades. So it's like the house in a casino. The house wins no matter what. And that's what Coinbase is. So anyways, that's Coinbase. Next up, last up, you guys know it, we have Tesla. Now, don't kill me, okay? I actually sold 5 shares of Tesla. I know. Let me explain, okay? So, first, I just want to say that was less than 10% of my entire position, and Tesla is still by far my largest position. So I sold just because I needed money to buy SoFi and Coinbase. That's all, right? So from a valuation standpoint and from a potential upside perspective, I just like Coinbase a little more than Tesla right now. And, it pains me to say this. Keep in mind that Tesla already did a 20x in less than 2 years, and Coinbase is down 50% from its IPO, right? So it pains me to do this, but if you were to ask me at this particular moment which stock I want to buy more, Tesla or Coinbase, I'm gonna say Coinbase, right? So obviously that could change, but I'm just talking about right now. So in an ideal world, I wouldn't have to sell anything to buy anything. I would just like bring up fresh cash. But everyone's financial situation is different, and for me, I don't have that much spare cash just lying around to just continuously average down on a stock without having to sell anything else, right? So that's just unfortunate. So another reason why I sold is that I am using a TFSA for this one. So for my American friends, a TFSA is just a Canadian version of a Roth IRA. So there's no taxes on realized gains. So I can buy and sell however I like without worrying about taxes. So if I was using a non-registered personal account, then my strategy would most likely be different because I don't want to be paying taxes on realizing like 100-200% gains on Tesla, right? So yeah, anyways, that's the reason why I sold. I'm still gonna hodl the rest of my Tesla shares. I still have 50 shares. I'm just gonna continue to hold on to those, and I'm not planning on selling anymore. So yeah, don't kill me, guys, okay? Yeah, lastly, we do have one more thing. This is not a stock, but this is my one Riot call option, which is up an amazing 60%. So I only threw in like $1,500 though, so it's up less than like $1,000 on it. So I didn't make that much money, even though the percentage is pretty impressive. I might hold on to it just because Bitcoin, as I said, is pumping right now. So I have a feeling that we might get back to like the 50K US per Bitcoin soon. So if that happens, then, you know, this Riot call is gonna like skyrocket even more, right? So Riot, if you don't know, they're a Bitcoin miner. So yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, so that's it for my entire portfolio as of August 2021. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed, and consider subscribing if you like the series. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, links down below in the description as always. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.